Combination vehicles are those that have a trailer attached with pivot points to allow the chassis to move or rotate in relation to the vehicle. Drivers of combination vehicles often need more knowledge and skill than drivers of single vehicles. For this reason, there are some important safety factors that apply specifically to combination vehicles. The first of these is a higher risk of rollovers. More than half of truck driver deaths in crashes are the result of truck rollovers. A truck's center of gravity is a major factor in rollovers because when more cargo is piled up in a truck, the center of gravity moves higher up from the road, which makes the truck easier to roll over. Fully loaded rigs are 10 times more likely to roll over in a crash than empty ones. However, there are some things that can help prevent a rollover. The first is to keep the cargo as low to the ground as possible. Cargo should not only be low to the ground, it should also be centered and spread out evenly throughout the trailer. If a load is heavier on one side, it makes the trailer lean and increases the chances of a rollover. The other way to help prevent a rollover is to drive slowly around corners, on ramps, and off ramps. Quick lane changes must also be avoided because trailers have a dangerous crack-the-whip effect that can turn the trailer over. This effect is caused by rearward amplification. The longer the vehicle, the more rearward amplification it has. Triple trailers have a rearward amplification of 3.5, which means the last trailer is 3.5 times easier to roll than a 5-axle trailer. Make sure you follow far enough behind other vehicles, with at least 1 second for every 10 feet of your vehicle length, plus another second if you're driving more than 40 miles per hour. Slow down to a safe speed before going into a turn. Brake early and control your speed whether fully loaded or empty. Look far enough down the road to avoid being surprised and having to make a sudden lane change. Large combination vehicles take longer to stop when they are empty or lightly loaded. This is also true of bobtails, which is a tractor without a trailer. Railroad highway crossings can also cause problems, especially when pulling trailer with low clearance underneath. Low-slung units, lowboys, car carriers, moving vans, possum belly livestock trailers, and single-axle tractors pulling a long trailer are all at a greater risk of getting stuck on a railroad crossing. If you ever do get stuck on tracks, get out of the vehicle, step away from the tracks, and notify emergency personnel. Give the location of the crossing using landmarks or the DOT number if possible. Another danger when driving a combination vehicle is trailer skids and jackknifes, which happens when the wheels of a trailer lock up and the trailer swings around. This is more likely to happen when the trailer is empty or lightly loaded. The first step in stopping a trailer skid is recognizing when a skid is happening. Anytime you apply your brakes hard, check the mirrors to make sure your trailer is where it should be. Once the trailer swings out of your lane, it is difficult to prevent a jackknife. However, if this does happen, release the brakes to get traction back. If you have to straighten out the rig, do not use the trailer handbrake since the brakes on the trailer wheels caused the skid in the first place. Once the trailer wheels grip the road again, the trailer will start to follow the tractor and straighten out. Anytime you go around a corner, it's important to note that the rear wheels follow a different path than the front wheels, which is called off-tracking or cheating. If there is more than one trailer, the last trailer will off-track the most. For this reason, you must turn wide when turning a corner. Steer the front end wide enough so that the rear end doesn't run over the curb, pedestrians, etc. At the same time, you also want to keep the rear of your vehicle close to the curb to stop other drivers from passing you on the right. When backing a car, straight truck, or bus, you turn the top of the steering wheel in the direction you want to go. However, when backing a trailer, you turn the wheel in the opposite direction. Once the trailer starts to turn, you must turn the wheel the other way to follow the trailer. Because backing with a trailer is more complicated, you should try to position your vehicle so that you can back in a straight line if at all possible. If you do have to back on a curved path, back to the driver's side so that you can see. When backing, Always look at your line of travel before you begin. Get out and walk around the vehicle while checking your clearance to the sides and overhead. Use the mirrors on both sides of the vehicle and check them frequently. Get out of the vehicle and look at your path as often as needed so you can make corrections before you get too far off track. Only back when necessary. Always back slowly and correct drifts immediately. As soon as you see the trailer getting off path, correct it by turning the steering wheel in the direction of the drift. Do as many pull-ups as needed to reposition your vehicle. In combination vehicles, the braking system has parts to control the trailer brakes. The trailer hand valve works the trailer brakes, but should be used only to test the trailer brakes, otherwise it could increase your chances of a trailer skid. There is less of a chance of causing a skid or jackknife if you use just the foot brake. Do not use the hand valve for parking because all the air might leak out, unlocking the brakes in trailers that don't have spring brakes. Always use the parking brakes when parking. If the trailer doesn't have spring brakes, use wheel chocks to keep the trailer from moving. The tractor protection valve, which is controlled by the trailer air supply control valve in the cab, keeps air in the tractor or truck brake system should the trailer break away or develop a bad leak. The control valve allows you to open and shut the tractor protection valve, which closes automatically if air pressure is within the range of 45 to 20 psi. When the tractor protection valve closes, it stops any air from going out of the tractor. It also lets the air out of the trailer emergency line. This causes the trailer emergency brakes to come on with a possible loss of control. On newer vehicles, the trailer air supply control is a red 8-sided knob that controls the tractor protection valve. To supply the trailer with air, you push it in and then pull it out to shut the air off and put on the trailer emergency brakes. Every combination vehicle has two air lines, the service line and the emergency line. These air lines run between each vehicle no matter how many trailers are in the combination. The service line is blue and is also called the control line, and it carries air, which is controlled by the foot brake or the trailer hand brake. The harder you press the foot brake or hand valve, the more pressure is applied to the service line, which is connected to relay valves. The red emergency line, which is also called the supply line, has two purposes. It supplies air to the trailer air tanks and controls the emergency brakes on combination vehicles. Loss of air pressure in the emergency line causes the trailer emergency brakes to come on. This loss of pressure could be caused by a break in one of the emergency line parts. When this happens, it also causes the tractor protection valve to close, at which point the air supply knob pops out. Glad hands are coupling devices used to connect the two air lines from the truck to the trailer. These couplers have a rubber seal that prevents air from escaping. Tractors built after 1975 will not allow for the air lines to be crossed. If you happen to cross the air lines in a pre-1975 tractor, supply air will be sent to the service line instead of going to charge the trailer air tanks. This means that air won't be available to release the trailer spring brakes. If the spring brakes don't release, a bad or incorrect airline connection might be the issue. Older trailers don't have spring brakes. If the air supply in the trailer air tank has leaked away, there will be no emergency brakes, and the trailer wheels will turn freely. If you cross the air lines, you could drive away, but you wouldn't have trailer brakes, presenting a dangerous situation. This is why you should always check the trailer brakes before driving, either with a hand valve or by pulling the air supply tractor protection valve control. Pull gently against them in a low gear to make sure the brakes work. Some vehicles will have dummy couplers that attach to the hoses when they are not in use to prevent water and dirt from getting into the coupler and air lines. You should use these when the air lines are not connected to a trailer. If there are no dummy couplers, you may be able to lock the glad hands together to keep the air supply clean. Each trailer and converter dolly has one or more air tanks that are filled by the emergency line from the tractor and provide the air pressure used to operate trailer brakes. Air pressure is sent from the air tanks to the brakes by relay valves. The pressure in the service line tells you how much pressure the relay valve should send to the trailer brakes. This pressure is controlled by the brake pedal and trailer handbrake. Each air tank has a drain valve on it that you should drain every day to help with water and oil buildup. If your tanks have automatic drains, they will keep most of the moisture out. Even if this is the case, you should still open the drains every day to make sure they are clear. Shutoff valves are used in the service and supply airlines at the back of trailers to tow other trailers, so they only appear in doubles or triples. These valves close the airlines when another trailer is not being towed. You must check that all shutoff valves are in the open position except for the ones at the back of the last trailer, which must be closed. All trailers and converter dollies built on or after March 1, 1998 are required to have anti-lock brake systems, or ABS. Trailers will have yellow ABS malfunction lamps on the left side, either on the front or rear corner. Dollies manufactured on or before March 1, 1998 are also required to have a lamp on the left side. ABS is in addition to your normal brakes and does not decrease or increase your normal braking capability. ABS only activates when wheels are about to lock up, which helps keep the vehicle under control during hard braking. Having ABS on only the trailer or even on only one axle still gives you more control over the vehicle. When only the trailer has ABS, the trailer is less likely to swing out, but if you lose steering control or start a tractor jackknife, let up on the brakes if you can safely do so until you gain control. When you drive a tractor-trailer combination with ABS, you should brake as you always have. Brake the same way whether you have ABS on the tractor, the trailer, or both. As you slow down, monitor your tractor and trailer and back off the brakes if it is safe to do so to stay in control. If your ABS fails, drive normally, but get the system serviced as soon as possible. Knowing how to couple and uncouple correctly is basic to safe operation of combination vehicles. To couple tractor semi-trailer, the first step is to inspect the fifth wheel by looking for damaged or missing parts. Check to see that mounting to the tractor is secure with no cracks in the frame. You should also make sure that the fifth wheel plate is greased as required. Failure to do this causes friction between the tractor and trailer, which could result in steering problems. Check to see that the fifth wheel is in the correct position for coupling, with the wheel tilted down toward the rear of the tractor and the jaws open. If you have a sliding fifth wheel, make sure it is locked. You also check the trailer plate for damage and that the trailer kingpin is not bent or broken. Next, you need to make sure that the area around the vehicle is clear and that the trailer wheels are chocked or the spring brakes are on. Also check that the cargo is secured against movement. Now you're ready to position the tractor. Put the tractor directly in front of the trailer and be careful not to back at an angle. Check the position by using your mirrors to look down both sides of the trailer. Back slowly until the fifth wheel just touches the trailer. Now, put on the parking brake to secure the tractor and put the transmission in neutral. Be sure the engine is off and the keys are in your pocket. After this is done, check the trailer height and ensure that it is low enough that it is raised slightly by the tractor when it is backed under it. Raise or lower the trailer as needed. If the trailer is too low, the tractor may strike and damage the trailer nose. If it is too high, it may not couple correctly. This is why it is important to make sure that the kingpin and fifth wheel are aligned. This is the point where you check the glad hand seals and connect the emergency and service air lines. Begin at a 90-degree angle when connecting the lines and make sure the lines are not touching the catwalk. From the cab, push in the air supply knob or switch the tractor protection valve control to the normal position to supply air to the trailer brake system. Once the air pressure is normal, check the brakes for crossed air lines. Then shut the engine off so you can hear the brakes. Listen for the sound of trailer air brakes being applied and released. Look at the air brake system pressure gauge for signs of major air loss. When you are sure that your trailer brakes are working, start the engine and make sure air pressure is normal. The next step is to lock the trailer brakes by pulling out the air supply knob or moving the tractor protection valve control to emergency. You are now ready to back under the trailer. Before you do, always get out and look to ensure the kingpin is in the correct position. Now back under the trailer using the lowest reverse gear and stop when the kingpin is locked into the fifth wheel. Check the connection to make sure it is secure and raise the trailer landing gear slightly off the ground. Pull the tractor gently forward while the trailer brakes are locked to check that the trailer is locked into the tractor. The next step is to secure the vehicle by applying the parking brakes, placing the transmission in neutral. Shut off the engine and take the key with you so someone else won't move the truck while you are under it. Next, inspect the coupling to make sure there is no space between the upper and lower fifth wheel. If there is space, this is an indicator that something is wrong. Make sure the fifth wheel jaws have closed around the shank of the kingpin. Check that the locking lever is in the lock position and that the safety latch is in position over the locking lever. Now, connect the electrical cord and check the air lines. Then plug the electrical cord into the trailer and fasten the safety catch. Check the air lines and electrical lines for signs of damage and make sure that they will not hit any moving parts of the vehicle. At this point, raise the front trailer supports and landing gear all the way up. Once this is done, secure the crank handle safely. Once the whole process is complete, remove and store wheel chocks in a safe place. To uncouple, start by positioning the rig and making sure the surface of the parking area can support the weight of the trailer. The second step is to release the pressure on the kingpin. For this, your trailer brakes should be locked. Release the parking brake, back up slightly, and put the parking brakes on while the tractor is pushing against the kingpin. Next, chock the trailer wheels if the trailer doesn't have spring brakes. Now, lower the landing gear. If the trailer is empty, lower the landing gear until it makes firm contact with the ground. If the trailer is loaded, turn the crank in a low gear a few extra turns after the landing gear makes firm contact with the ground. This will lift some weight off the tractor. Disconnect the air lines and electrical cable. When you do this, connect the airline glad hands to the dummy couplers at the back of the cab or couple them together. To open the fifth wheel, pull the release handle to the open position. When doing this, keep your legs and feet clear of the rear tractor wheels to avoid serious injury in case the vehicle moves. Once this is complete, the next step is to pull the tractor partially clear of the trailer until the fifth wheel comes out from under the trailer. The next step is to secure the tractor. To do this, apply the parking brake and put the transmission in neutral. Now you can inspect the trailer supports. Look at the landing gear to make sure it isn't damaged and that the ground is supporting the trailer. The last step is to drive the tractor away from the trailer. To pull the tractor clear of the trailer, release the parking brakes and check the area and drive forward until the tractor clears. There are more things to inspect on a combination vehicle than on a single vehicle. Of course, you always want to be sure to check the tires, wheels, lights, reflectors, etc. But there are some additional items you should look at as well. Check the coupling system areas and ensure that the lower fifth wheel is securely mounted to the frame and that there are no missing or damaged parts. There also needs to be enough grease and no visible space between the upper and lower fifth wheel. At this point, you should also check the upper fifth wheel. The glide plate should be securely mounted to the trailer frame and the kingpin shouldn't be damaged. Also, ensure the air and electric lines to the trailer are hooked correctly. There should be no air leaks. When you check the sliding fifth wheel, the slide should not be damaged or have missing parts. It should also be properly greased with all locking pins present and locked in place. Check that air flows to all trailers. Wait for air pressure to reach normal. Then, push in the red trailer air supply knob. This will supply air to the emergency supply lines. Use the trailer handbrake to supply air to the service line. At the rear of the last trailer, open the emergency line shutoff valve. You should hear air escaping. Repeat this process with the service lines and foot brake or handbrake on. Next up is the tractor protection valve. To test this, charge the trailer air brake system by building up normal air pressure and push the air supply knob in. Shut the engine off and then step on and off the brake pedal several times to reduce the air pressure in tanks. The tractor protection valve control should pop out or go from normal to emergency when the pressure falls to between 45 and 20 psi. To test the trailer emergency brakes, charge the trailer air brake system and check that the trailer rolls freely. Stop and pull out the trailer air supply control, then pull gently on the trailer with the tractor to check that the trailer emergency brakes are on. Test the trailer service brakes. Check for normal air pressure. Release the parking brakes and move the vehicle forward slowly. If equipped, apply the trailer brakes with the hand control. At this point, you should feel the brakes come on. This tells you that the trailer brakes are connected and working as they should. Finally, check the air loss rate. With the engine off and brakes released, it should lose no more than 3 psi. If the brakes are applied, it should lose no more than 4 psi.